This is R.D. Sharma's solution of class 12th. We are taking the chapter probability, and in your edition this chapter may be different. The exercise we are taking is fourth exercise. A and B are two independent events. So first thing is A and B independent. We know the equation. The probability that A and B occur is 1 by 6 and the probability that neither of them occurs is 1 by 3. Find the probability of occurrence of two events. So first thing first, independency is proven by the intersection relation. That is, probability of A intersection B will be equal to the probability of A and probability of B. So when you multiply these two, these are showing that the events are independent. Now A and B occur together. What does it mean? PA intersection B. Intersection means and. Wherever you see and, it's A intersection B. Wherever you see A or B, it's PA union B. So we are putting PA into PB in place of PA intersection B. So PA multiplied by PB is equal to 1 by 6. Now probability that neither of them occurs is 1 by 3. So neither of them occur. PA naught intersection PB naught means A intersection B intersection is A and B. A naught intersection B naught is neither of them occurs, which is 1 by 3 is given in the case. So we will write PA naught intersection B naught equals to 1 by 3. So what does it mean? It's PA naught multiplied by PB naught, because A and B are two independent events, and when they are independent events, PA naught intersection B naught will be equal to PA naught multiplied by PB naught. Now any event, the probability of its happening and not happening, if you add them, it will be equal to 1, because the probability always lies between 0 and 1. 0 and 1 are inclusive. So what do we get out of it? We can write PA naught as 1 minus PA. I'm just transferring PA from left hand side to right hand side. And PB naught is what? 1 minus PB in the similar way. So I am changing PA naught as 1 minus PA and PB naught as 1 minus PB. So this is equal to 1 by 3. Now in the previous question, if you remember, we can assume this PA as better is to write PB equals to X, because we will be replacing that. And why I'm doing PB equals to X, it's not mandatory. You can use it at your will. You can go along with PA and PB only. I'm just writing PB equals to X for the ease of doing the computation. So PA can be written as 1 by 6 into PB from this equation. We are calling it as equation number 2. Equation number 3 we are calling 1 minus PA, 1 minus PB equals to 1 by 3. So in place of PA, I'm replacing it by 1 by 6 into PB, which I got just now. Now, when you're dealing with these brackets and variables of different, symbols, it may be difficult to understand for the examiner. So for the examiner to understand your solution, just assume PB equals to X or any variable you want, which is not given in the question. So now this 1 minus 1 by 6 into PB we have taken as X. The second term is 1 minus X, and this is equal to 1 by 3. So you need to find out the quadratic equation now. Let's multiply 6x on both the sides. Or you can take 1 minus 1 by 6x, take the LCM. This will become 6x minus 1 by 6x. 1 minus x is already there. This 6x is in the denominator, can be taken on the right hand side. So 1 by 3 into 6x on the right hand side. So this will become 2x on the right hand side. Left hand 6x minus 1 into 1 minus x. So 6x minus 6x squared minus 1 plus x. So 2x I'm bringing on the left hand side and trying to rearrange them so that I get a quadratic equation. So it will be negative 6x squared. 6x plus x minus 2x will give you 5x minus 1 equals to 0. You do remember that we don't allow the negative with x squared. So we ought to multiply the left hand side and the right hand side by negative 1. Now 6x squared minus 5x plus 1. 6 is 2 into 3. So negative 5x can be written as negative 2x, negative 3x. So 2x you can take common. X minus 1 will come. Or rather 2x if you take common, 3x minus 1 will come. Minus 3x minus 1. Now from here you can take 3x minus 1 common. So you get 2x minus 1 remaining. So when you put these two different terms as 0, because one of the term has to be 0, so x becomes half, x becomes 1 by 3. So what do we get? We got x equals to half and x equals to 1 by 3. Now if you remember, PB was taken as x. So PB One time it has come half, the other time it has come 1 by 3. Now PA was what? PA was 1 by 6 into PB. Now replace this PB 1 time by 1 half, 1 time by 1 by 3, because we have got two values of x, which is half and 1 by 3. So we ought to get two values of PA also. So I'm now replacing PB by half and 1 by 3. So first case we got 1 by 3, and the other case we got it as 1 by 2. So this is PA, probability of A event is 1 by 3 and 1 by 2. So when PB equal to 1 by 3, PA is half. When PB is equal to 1 by 2, we get PA as 1 by 3. So this is how we need to do it. It was a good question because various logic has been used here. A and B are independent events, union is given, PA is given. We have to find out the probability of B. These are independent events. So PA union B is given as 0.6, but we know that the formula PA union B can be written as PA plus PB minus PA intersection B. Now PA intersection B is PA multiplied by PB. Why? Because in the question it is being provided that they are independent events. So in the first equation we will replace the second equation which we have just written. Now I'm writing the values also. You have to do it in separate steps. So I am just shortcutting it. 0.6 is PA union B. 0.2 is PA, PB is not known until now. PA intersection B, I'm replacing it by PA multiplied by PB. PA is 0.2, PB is PB only. Now let's bring this 0.2 or transfer this 0.2 on the left hand side. We get 0.6 minus 0.2. That will give you 0.4. On the right, you can take PB common. When you take this PB common from the two terms which are remaining on the right hand side, it will be 1 minus 0.2. 1 minus 0.2 is 0.8. So PB into 0.8 is 0.4. PB becomes 0.4 divided by 0.8, and 0.4 by 0.8 is 1 by 2, which comes out to be 0.5. We generally write the probability in terms of what is being given. That's why I'm writing 0.5 rather than 1 by 2, because the question is saying 0.6 and 0.2. So this PA intersection B is PA into PB. In the first equation, we have written PA into PB, and then the question is being done. A die is tossed twice. We have to find the probability of getting a number greater than 3 on each toss. So we have to write this sample space. There are two dice. A die can produce 1 to 6 numbers because there are 6 faces. The fair die has 6 faces with 1 to 6 inscribed on it, dots. So the sample space will be 6 in one case, 6 is another case. 6 multiplied by 6 is 36. From these 36 options, you have to pick those options or those events where the number comes more than 3 in either of the die. So first die and second die, 3 and more, that means 4, 5, 6. First die, second die also 4, 5, 6. So it is greater than 3, so we cannot include 3. It has to be 4, 5, 6 in the first one. The second one will also have 4, 5, 6. So we have to take all the possibilities from the possibilities which can only give 4, 5, 6 in either of the die. That's the gist of this question. Now the sample space is very important. I'll just make it in a short and then I'll tell you why we require this sample space to be written completely in order to get the required possibilities of our favorable cases. So 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6. Similarly, 2, 1 to 2, 6, 3, 1 to 3, 6, 4, 1 to 4, 6, 5, 1 to 5, 6, and then 6, 1 to 6, 6. Now you can write it like this. See, write just 1 in first row, 2 in second row like this till 6 in the last row. Then just put the 1 on the first column as for the second die, 2 in the second column, 3 in the third column, likewise 6 in the sixth column. So the number of elements in the sample space is 6 into 6, that is 6 in the first die possibilities and 6 in the other die. Now we are interested in an event where we need 4, 5, 6 in the first die or 4, 5, 6 in the other die. So the first 3 rows is irrelevant for us. 1, 1 to 1, 6, 2, 1 to 2, 6, 3, 1 to 3, 6. We don't have the numbers which are greater than 3. I am writing all of it just because it's just to show you why writing of the sample space becomes important when you are doing such kind of questions. If you can compute or imagine the sample space in your brain, it is advisable. But for those who want some more consideration or more observatory skills, then they can have this one. So I am just rounding those values which are the favorable cases. We cannot have 5-1, 5-2, 6-2, 6-3. No. 4-4. Both are greater than 3. 4-5, 4-6, 5-4, 5-5, 5-6, 6-4, 6-5, and 6-6. So these are all the events in the sample space which matches or which abides by the condition given in the question, which is a number greater than 3 on both the die or on each toss. So number of elements in E becomes 9. Probability of E is total number of favorable cases divided by total number of cases. That is, number of favorable cases divided by the total number of cases. Total number of cases are 36 and total number of favorable cases, because we want 3, more than 3 on each toss, which is 9. 9 by 36 is 1 by 4. So this sample space in this type of question becomes mandatory, and I will strongly advise you to write all of this. I am now making a periphery of those cases which are favorable to us in this question. Sample space always remains 36 for the 2 die. So the probability is 1 by 4. Given that the probability that A can solve problem is 2 by 3 and the probability that B can solve the same problem is 3 by 5. So I'm writing PA, which is already given the question 22 by 3. The same problem is 3 by 5 if B can solve. Find the probability that none of the two will be able to solve the problem. So we have to find out in this question PA naught, B naught intersection, none of them, that means intersection. None means A naught, which is A none, B naught, which is B none. None of the two means A bar intersection B bar. Two people or two individuals are different, so there is no dependency between them solving something. So it's given in the question that the events are independent, so we can follow our scheme which we have learned. PA naught intersection B naught is PA naught multiplied by PB naught. PA naught can be written as 1 minus PA. PB naught is 1 minus PB, because PA plus PA bar is always 1. Similar for the PB. So this PA is given, I'm replacing now PA and PB, which is already given in the question. PA is given as 2 by 3. PB is given as 3 by 5. So 1 minus 2 by 3 is 1 by 3. 1 minus 3 by 5 is 2 by 5. And when we multiply these two, we are going to get 2 by 15. Please remember, probability always lie between 0 and 1. 0 and 1 are inclusive. So you can check, recheck. 2 by 15 does lie between 0 and 1. So this is the reference so that you can solve it. You can write all the content which is being given in the question. So two individuals or two different things solving something are independent of each other. An unbiased die is tossed twice. You find the probability of getting 4, 5, 6 on the first toss, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the second toss. So the sample space is quite known to you. I already told you how to write it. See, if I have to write the sample space, I have to see the question contains how much marks. If it is 1 and 2, you don't write this. But if the question is higher than value of 2, that is the question takes the weightage of more than 2 marks, just make this 1, 1, 1, 1, 6 times first row, 2, 2, 2, 6 times second row, 3, 3, 3, 6 times third row, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 6 times fourth row, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6 times fifth row, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 times last row. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 can come in the second die. So just write 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 first column, 2, 2, 2, 2, 6 times second column, 3, 6 times third column, 4, 6 times fourth column, 5, 6 times fifth column, and 6, 6 times in the last column. So this is a faster way to make the sample space of the die or any other question which are similar to this kind of question. So the first task can only contain 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3 is debarred. So what are the values which has 4, 5, 6 on the first score? So we have 3rd, 4th and 4th, 5th and 6th. These are the rows which contains 4, 5, 6 in the first task. So there are 6 in the first this 4th row, 6 in 5th row and 6 in the final row. So 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18. So number of elements when the first task can contain only 4, 5, 6 is 18. How about the number of elements in B? The first task can contain 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 and 6 are debarred. So this one, this one, this one. Okay, these are 6, these are 6, these are 6, these are 6. So in all, when the first task can contain only 1, 2, 3, 4, then we have 24 of them which we got from the sample space. So this one, the first boundary I'm making corresponds to all the events or the values which gives you 4, 5, 6 on the first task. The second boundary I'm making is for getting 1, 2, 3, 4 on the second task. And we counted the number of events in here, or experiments, sorry. So P A intersection B has to be found out because in these two different sets, AND is given. Wherever we encounter AND, that means we are talking about the intersection. So these are independent events. So PA multiplied by PB can be done. What is the probability of A? Favorable cases are 18, 36 are the total number of cases. Probability B, 24 favorable cases, 36 total number of cases. 18 by 36, that gives you 1 by 2. 24 by 36 gives you 2 by 3. So 1 by 2 multiplied by 2 by 3 gives you 1 by 3. So this is the 1 by 3 value, which is the solution of this question. So this is how it will be done. Again, it depends on the number of marks this question comes in your exam. If it is 1 or 2 or a multiple choice question, then you don't need to write the sample space. If it is more than 2, you need to write the sample space. This question we'll take in the next discussion. Till then, thank you so much. Have a good one.